Hey, welcome back to 10 News at 2. I'm Katie Inman. Well, a big weekend just wrapped up in Knoxville. If you were anywhere near downtown, it was definitely packed. And it was for a good reason because it was the annual WBIR Music Festival. I know that our very own John North, I was keeping up living vicariously through him because he got to see Robert Plant perform. Yeah, no, Daniel, you can pop in here.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that John got to go see him. I'm such a huge fan of Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin. That is so cool. John always gets in on the best music experiences in Knoxville.
I know. I agree. And that's why I was like, I know if I want to see what was going on at WBIR, I need to just get on John North's Instagram. And that's what I did. And I was actually visiting my dad yesterday, who my dad is also a huge Robert Plant fan. Whenever I was growing up, actually, this is like kind of funny, but my dad would show me a picture of Robert Plant and he'd be like, who is this? And I caught on pretty quick that it was Robert Plant. But the first few times I'm like, I have no idea who that guy is. But he's like, you need to know who Robert Plant is. So I showed my dad the Robert Plant videos like that John had posted. And he was like singing along. So that was
I'm trying
really
to pull up his
special
Instagram. I don't know if I'll be able to do it fast
I don't know,
enough,
but I did screen record it so that I could send it and keep it like for my dad later on. But anyways, so if you can't find it, I'll send it to you. But very cool weekend. WBIR's, you know, this is of course not the first time that this has been in Knoxville. It just keeps growing, getting bigger, better every year. It's like they described it as your favorite artist's favorite artist. And if you missed the episode of 10 News at 2 on Friday, Robin was able to sit down with a historian talking about how this scene of music in Knoxville, it's not a new concept, but rather it just keeps building on each other. So we want to give you a look back at that episode in case you missed it.
Knoxville has never been "quote unquote" traditional. It has its roots are far and wide when it comes to music.
We often look at even our country music favorites of the past in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and they were doing new things that people hadn't heard before. We think of Roy Acuff as being very old fashioned and kind of one of the original stars of the Grand Ole Opry and so forth, but he was playing with an instrument most people had never heard before. And he had a dobroist, and that was something nobody had ever heard before in the 1930s when he started just incorporating it into his music. And people would hear this kind of crazy whining sound and say, "What is that?" and would want to stop and listen to it. But he was an innovator, and he might have been welcome. But if we'd had big ears in 1935, he might have been the headliner.
And then, of course, we have to talk about the one that we always think about, getting her start in East Tennessee, the one and only Dolly Parton, who, as a matter of fact, her early days were spent in this building singing on the Kaz Walker Show, which was taped in our small studio.
Yeah. Dolly Parton, before she was on TV, she was on radio and Kaz Walker's show.
Just because I'm blonde, don't think I'm dumb, 'cause this stuff blonde ain't nobody's cool.
Okay, any excuse to listen to Dolly is a good one,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah, if you missed that episode too, you can go to our YouTube channel and 10 News, our streaming app 10 Plus as well to catch up on that if you want to hear all things music. But I mean, you can't see Dolly and listen to her without also saying, she was in East Tennessee not that long ago to help open up this season of Dollywood.
I know, yeah.
And
Corey, our news director, was there with his family. I don't know how close they got, but
I told him because Shay Smith and I were there that day too, and I kept saying like, Corey, we're gonna grab you and interview you, and he stayed far away from us, I think, for that reason. So I never saw him at the park that day, but so glad Dolly was able to be there. That was her first public appearance since her husband had passed away. Yes.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
And she's had health concerns, has had to cancel appearances and shows and things like that. So it was special to have her there. I was actually just at Dollywood last week. She was not there last week, but to preview their runs that they have coming up. You heard me and Todd talking about running earlier on in the show, but a lot of special things happening at Dollywood. I Will Always Love You festivals going on. So just seeing Dolly just sparked that in my brain. But
of course, and when she sees you, she'll probably recognize you from.
I don't know. That's like peak. That's when I've peaked and I can die happy. So
I will always remember that day.